Hello, my name is Nicholas Almendares. This ominous fog-infested forest I find myself lost in may remind you of the supernatural movies of your childhood, while this modern set may remind you of the constant wave of entertainment in your front room every night. And on this field of blood, sweat, and tears, the door to the future opens to those willing to work the hardest. These three locations may seem bearing no relation, but what if I told you that you can find them all deep in the heart of Texas? In life, very few things are as constant as the wheel of time. But in Texas, few things are as common as ghoulish stories, entertainment, and sports stars. We will see it all through stories of the past, present, and future. Our story starts at a hotel that seems lost in time. A hotel filled to the brim with ghoulish frights. However, there's no better way to explain it than just having our team of paranormal investigators show you. This is Once Upon a Time in Texas.
Texas is home to many unexplainable events, from unidentified lights in the sky to haunted train tracks.
We are gonna put this in neutral and we'll see what happens.
There's plenty to investigate. One of the most haunted and scariest locations in not only Texas, but the entire country is Victoria's Black Swan Inn, located in San Antonio. The site has an amazing history involving the origins of Texas and is open to the public to come and explore. Despite the heavy amounts of paranormal activity reported on the property, the main house is in fact home to a family that lives there. Knowing this, we just had to get in touch with the person behind this.
Hi, my name is Jo Rivera and I'm the owner of Victoria's Black Swan Inn. The history of this property is pretty unique and intense. It is considered to be one of the most historic sites in San Antonio next to the Alamo. This is where the Battle of Salado was fought on September 18th, 1842. This is my home. I've lived here for almost 30 plus years now. Living on this property is a unique experience. The most notable experiences that I've had here, there's been a lot. From ashtrays flying across the room, a large cast iron skillet hanging on a meat hook, and it flew off the hook and just past my cheek and slammed down on the floor, just missing my foot by a fraction. I've had times where I'm opening a door, and I go to open the door and the door will slam back in my face. I've had some scary things. One in particular was this young boy that appeared. He looked very real. He reminded me of like a Renaissance painting. When I tried to get him to leave, he just kept trying to be seductive and asking questions. And then I remember asking him, what is his name? And he said, oh, my name is Dimitri. And I'm like, Dimitri? That's an interesting name for San Antonio. And then when I asked him, well, where did you come from? And he's like, well, I was on the creek. It's peaceful there. So no 10-year-old kid is going to tell me the creek is peaceful. I finally got him to leave. And then probably an hour or so later, the energy intensified on the property and the boy reappeared, and it was so scary that I called 911. And when the police got here, they wanted to know, what was going on. And I'm like, there's a boy here. He said his name is Dimitri. And the officer gets out of the car, puts his hand on his gun, pulls his gun and said, Dimitri, what is that, a demon? And even the officer told me, he goes, if you see him again, call 911 immediately. He's dangerous. So I'm like, what does that mean? Paranormal activity is different for everyone. People that come in like you sometimes are coming in as a skeptic, or if you're not experienced with it, you don't know that something is actually happening to you until later on. Like when you go back and you review film and you see someone in the film that wasn't ever there. The more that you're here, of course, the more you experience the paranormal, but the more accustomed you get to the different entities that are actually on the property. So you could interview any shopkeeper here and they would all have a different story about what has happened in their shop at their time. Victoria's Black Swan Inn is unique to the city, not only in its history, but in what we do. I opened the property, I've opened up for funerals, anniversaries, birthday parties, weddings. We do all sorts of social events. Every first and third weekend, we have an artisan market. I invite anybody who's in the artistic fields. They can come, they can vend, they can sell, they can meet people. So when you're here, it's like you're stepping back in time. And I try to share it with the public as much as I possibly can. The most thing when people come in to investigate, things that they should be aware of is being respectful. One, this is our home. I do have children here, so I ask that you don't provoke in a negative way. But here you don't really need to provoke. You can just sit quiet and ask questions. A lot of people that are just starting out investigating think that it's cool to be aggressive. But you have to treat the spirit world the same way you would treat people in real life. I've had some people that were pretty well known in the paranormal world come out and provoke things like, you think you're a big bad guy, go ahead and hit me. And you will literally see the dark shadow, you can see the energy transference, and they'll go down to their knees. So it's not something that I think that you should do. I also think that you should always at least be in teams, because things can be shocking, things can be scary, things can be intense, from biting, scratching, burns, hits. I mean, it's not always meant to be that way, but if you think about energy, say we're vibrating here and they're vibrating here, as they come through, there's this big bang. There's a bang of energy. So you may end up with what looks like a burn. It wasn't that they meant to hurt you. It's just the energy transference. So I think the more that people open their minds to the experience, the better off they are.
After our meeting with Joanne, there was one thing left to do: explore the property for ourselves. So what happens when you throw 4 random college students into one of the most haunted places in the country? Our findings were quite shocking.
Hey guys. I'm feeling like really hot air. Really hot air right here where I'm holding.
You're supposed to feel something cold.
I felt something really hot right here.
What does that mean?
But if you think about energies, as they come through, there's this big bang. There's a bang of energy. So you may end up with what looks like a burn.
Why am I always walking first?
You're the leader.
Oh, a light. There was a light over there that just flashed. Oh, a light.
Oh my god.
See, there's something hot over there.
Strange. Please knock.
After getting familiar with the house, we decided to try and talk with any spirits that may be present.
We could try to talk in here.
If there's anyone in here with us, just know we're just here just to look around. We don't mean to cause any trouble, but we would also like it if you came out and sat down with us. So if you have a favorite chair in here, if you can sit down in your favorite chair.
What if we are in their favorite chair?
If someone is sitting in your favorite chair, I guess let them know kindly. Is that y'all?
No, what the heck?
For real?
No, I'm serious,
Okay.
dude.
Is there anyone that sits at that end table chair? Are we disturbing y'all by being in here? Yes, I hope not. Yes, I hope not.
I feel like we should have came with some questions.
Yeah, we apologize for not having.
So, okay,
Oh,
so there's a
Did y'all not see that?
No.
That chair moved. Yeah, we apologize for not having. I hope this caught it. I'm being serious. Could you do to the chair? Wait, like, move it again?
Do you have a name? Are you Dimitri?
Don't. My god.
Guys, do you see something moving? What is that?
The room we were in was very active the first few minutes we sat down, but after these unexplainable events we captured, the activity of the house settled down. After many failed attempts to get a response, we decided to pack our bags and call it a night. But before leaving the location, we would capture one last experience of activity on the property.
We're gonna assume someone's over there.
It gets better.
Victoria's Black Swan Inn has a lot of unexplainable phenomenon on the property, but there's much more to it than just being a haunted location for paranormal enthusiasts. It's a gathering spot, welcoming all sorts of vendors and shops to bring their culture and personality to the area. It's also an entertainment venue for people to socialize, unwind, and have fun, which is completely separated from all the paranormal stuff. The Black Swan Inn has a vast amount of history to the state, and the ongoing mystery of all the paranormal activity will forever make it an iconic landmark of Texas.
Greetings, people of the Alamo Colleges. Emily here, broadcasting live deep within the academic cosmos. I come with two important messages to give you all. June 30th, 2022 is the deadline for financial aid applications. Also, summer and fall 2022 classes are now open for registration. Head over to alamo.edu for more information. The clock is ticking. Don't space out.
Hola, pues qué bueno, you're all here. Welcome to Into the Wind with Artemio Winchester. I'm your host, Artemio Winchester. On Into the Wind, we'll help you adjust your sails through the currents coming at you at every night. How do we do that? With our rapid speed round of news, of course. How real is our news? We don't know, but I'm sure it's more realer than your friendships. We start off our show with the story of two Tesla SUVs in a heated road rage battle while on autopilot. Witnesses say two driverless Tesla Model Ys got into a fight over an available charging station. Reports say that this isn't the first time the Alamo City's limited charging supply has caused issues. Just last week, one of Tesla's on autopilot pushed a Ford Mustang out of a designated charging zone. Clearly, the Tesla did not believe Ford was the best in Texas. Neither do I, so. Mustang was eventually recovered from the San Antonio River. Tesla CEO Elon Musk was asked to comment. However, he's on Mars at the moment. Still no word. Also in the news, Chris Rock and Will Smith will headline the inaugural Hug It Out charity event. During the event, Will and Chris must hug each other real tight. Like, real tight. If the two can hug for 1 hour, $1 million goes to a charity of their choice, with an additional $10 million going into their bank accounts. Must be nice. Also competing at this event, Kanye West and Pete Davidson. Oh my God, look, we're running out of time. In our final story, the doomsday clock is 100 seconds away from midnight. Our most dire hour, the wind of change has been silenced. While we attempt that change, many have accepted their impending, inevitable doom. And who can blame them? My God, I wasted my life reporting on celebrity gossip and just stealing the personality of talk show hosts, much more charismatic than I'll ever be. The world is ending, I don't even know who I am. Artemio isn't even my real name. I just picked it because it sounds cool. My real name is Bart Vanderschmut. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me on another classy piece of news coverage. There's one thing we can agree on. There's not enough news on TV. Make sure you tune in next week. We'll have an interview with George Lopez. May not be the famous one, but we'll interview someone named George Lopez. My name is Artemio Winchester, and you've just been Into the Wind.
Huh. Thanks for that, Artemio. So far, we've learned about our past, we've stepped into the present. Finally, let's take a look into the future of our Lone Star State. To do that, let's head over to the next level with our sports analysts, Josh and Chuck. Take it away, guys.
Hello and welcome to The Next Level with Josh and Chuck. I'm Joshua Ermis.
And I'm Charles Hopper.
Today we focus on the current happenings in the world of sports, specifically the NFL. And with the NFL, we'd like to focus on three special players coming out of UTSA right here in San Antonio. Those players being the stud offensive lineman Spencer Burford, the long and fast Tariq Woolen, the cornerback, and stout running back Sincere McCormick. Now, first, we'd like to focus on, I think, a guy that can really make a difference in the league wherever he goes, Tariq Woolen.
Oh, man. Tariq Woolen, as you guys know, he is the guy that at the NFL Combine made a lot of waves and a lot of big splash running the 4.2 Combine 40 speed that he had. That being said, he's very tall and he's very, long. I think that's a difference from most cornerbacks that we don't see in the league anymore.
Yeah, I think that length and that speed are something that is becoming more and more necessary with the evolution of the offense and the evolution of the wide receiver. Wide receivers are getting faster. Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase. And they're getting bigger. DK Metcalf, taller, DeAndre Hopkins. Someone like Tariq Woolen is a guy that I think you can plug in everywhere on the field, and I think he can make a difference against anyone on this ever so changing, evolving offense.
Not only that, but, I want to just put out there, it's not just that, his height and his speed are the only thing that he has. He has actual skill, too. He's really been, a lockdown corner in the recent years for UTSA, and I think he's going to continue that on to the next level.
I agree. Not only is the offense getting faster, but of course that means the defense needs to get faster too. And he, I think, embodies that evolution that is necessary for the modern cornerback. Now, another guy who's fast and big, the stud offensive lineman, Spencer Burford. This guy, I think he has that potential to be the real big star out of UTSA and someone that can really get the ball rolling. I know we had Marcus Davenport, who really made a splash when he came into the league from UTSA. But I think Spencer Burford can really get that ball rolling on UTSA players being taken a lot more seriously, and UTSA as a whole just, making their name known, getting out there in the NFL.
I think Spencer Burford is actually going to be that guy that is going to make it a little bit better for UTSA athletes to come out afterwards. You had Marcus Davenport, but I believe Marcus Davenport was just a foundation for them to be looking at UTSA as a college, as an athletics program. They're very young, but Spencer Burford is going to be the guy. He has the skill, he has the talent necessary to be, one of the better combo guards in the NFL at the moment. He plays guard. He also can transition to tackle. You said offense is getting faster. So, he ran a 5.1 in the combine.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
It's nothing to sneeze at. And, not only is he tall, he may be fast, but he's not small. No. He's a very big dude.
No, he's a guy. Like I said, he's a guy that can move around, a guy that can play multiple positions. Someone like Elton Jenkins comes to mind, a guy that has started all 5 positions at the offensive line, a guy who plays, of course, for the Packers, a guy that I think can relate to Spencer as Spencer is, one of those guys that you can move around. You can plug him in at tackle. You may have an injury, something you may need to sub him in at guard. He can do that, and I think that is the big thing that is happening with the offensive line is the ability to move around. And with, of course, the defense is also getting stronger and faster. You mentioned his speed. He's a guy that can keep up. He's a guy that you can really use in the run game. As Trent Williams, he was put in motion just this past offseason or postseason. He's a guy that you can do that.
He's a guy that you can do that for. He's a guy that if I have to say I want to I want to run a screenplay, I'm going to put in Spencer Burford, and I'm going to have him run with the running back because I know he can kind of keep up. I know he'll be able to, stay with the guard and, try to handle that defense.
I agree. A guy like Spencer Burford, I think, is just what UTSA needs to really get out there and really get their name out. I think he's a guy that can last a long time in the league. Of course, nobody's perfect coming into the league, but he's a guy that I think might be able to pick it up quickly, might be able to really get his name out right when he gets in the league. And
he's doing it on such short time.
Yes.
He only started playing football in his, junior year of high school. He's gone 6 years playing football in total, and now he's, league ready?
Right.
With just short time and short development. I think this is going to be something that can change for him, and it'll be, a nice little development for teams to use.
I agree. And now I think we're going to go to the guy that I think we kind of disagree on here. He's someone that, of course, was the one that was being blocked for by Spencer Burford and Josh Dunlop, who also went into the league, played a little bit with the Chargers, right, you said?
Also from UTSA as well, yeah.
Of course, yes. And, this guy, Sincere McCormick, who I think deserves a shot, but as something we do agree on about Sincere and that position as a whole, the running back position, it's hard to, stay around and stay relevant in the current league with running backs. I think that, someone like Sincere McCormick, I think can make that difference. Maybe a 1-2 punch guy.
Let me go ahead and stop you because the 1-2 punch, yes, as effective as it is, Sincere McCormick has the ability to be the 1-2 punch. You are correct there.
Yeah. Right.
You are correct. It is very hard to stay relevant as a running back in this league. Now, that being said, it's not particularly because of a 1-2 punch combo. I think running backs in itself are kind of just not showing out as much as they used to. You don't really need a running back to run the ball when I can have a quarterback run the ball.
Oh, come on.
I don't need a running back to catch out of the backfield when I have strong receivers like, Tyreek Hill who can turn a 5-yard curl into a 40-yard touchdown.
And get obliterated because he's like 2 feet tall. I mean, come on. I'm a run first guy, and I'm not going to be a guy that runs the. I know you're talking about quarterbacks being a lot more mobile and running them. Yeah, if you want to have your quarterback for like 5 years and then they're gone, a guy like Sincere, I think, can help, relieve maybe some of these running quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson or like a Mariota who's now potentially has got another shot. But that's the thing with those quarterbacks. I mean, how long do you have? That's why you need a guy like Sincere McCormick, and that's why running backs, in my mind at least, still matter. I think that, a guy like Sincere, he can maybe, change the narrative. He can be one of those guys that brings back the run game in a more prominent way, like a guy like Nick Chubb is already doing. Someone like that. The running back position is not dead in my eyes, but I know you disagree, of course.
Yes, and I think that's because, it's not dead in your eyes. You are a very run-first type of person. Yeah. I like to live more of a spread offense kind of style, I need a player like Christian McCaffrey that can, run the ball when he needs to, but I want someone more of a receiving back, someone that can catch out of the backfield and turn that into a big gain. Sincere McCormick may be able to be that guy, but as far as we've seen, he's being compared to, one of your better players, Aaron Jones.
Yeah, you're right. And it's kind of funny because I am an Aaron Jones guy, but I'm more of an A.J. Dillon guy. And he's the bigger guy. He's the bruiser.
See, and that's my issue with Sincere. Does he have a chance to be in the league? Yes. Does he deserve a chance? Maybe. But that being said, I believe it's one of those moments where, he just doesn't really have what it takes to fully be a starter.
Right. And I think that, as we've talked about throughout this show, is that UTSA, I think they're building. I think they are becoming one of those higher tier colleges, at least in Texas. And I think that is something that I really want to send you out with, is that UTSA is building and getting better, and I think these are the guys that can take them to that next level.
After being so young for such a team, I do think they do have that chance, and that's something we do want to leave with you today is, they're young in building, but they're going to be the next big team.
This has been The Next Level. I've been Josh. He's been Chuck. We'll see you next time.
Now that we've come full circle, our time together has come to an end. We want to thank the Black Swan Hotel, UTSA, and San Antonio College. Thank you for joining us. Most importantly, thank you for your time. We know how valuable that can be nowadays. If I can leave you with anything, it's that some of the best stories happened once upon a time in Texas.